I'm just doing this video because I have to wait for a delivery. And guess what the window is? 9 to 1 p.m. Yeah, so we're here and we're just waiting, and I have anxiety. Why? Because I don't like the unexpected. I don't know if I'm gonna have to take the outer door off, and I don't like people in my house. I don't like strangers in my house. Anyways, so we have the forest fires. And I could go on about the government and how they are sending monies to other countries and all the things. And we just need one of those overhead, what are they called? The water planes or whatever. And at one time, a few years back, Russia had volunteered to send over their planes to help because they have all the things. You know why they have all the things? Because they're not sending their money to other countries. I know you don't like Russians. I understand that. When I was growing up, I was called a communist because my great-grandparents came from Russia. And I didn't even understand what a communist was. I didn't know, but, I was very much hated in certain circles because let's just say I was a scandalous child. Before I was even born, I was causing scandal in my town. Still am, but anyways. Of course, we cannot prevent the obvious. We cannot prevent people going and deliberately setting fires in the forest, or irresponsible campers that, leave fires burning. Remember, you can smother a fire and it could still be burning underneath the ground. That's what causes the fires sometimes, is that the roots, right? Think about the root network of a tree underground, and that catches on fire, and it could be burning for years. Did you know that? A fire could be burning for years underground before it engulfs up through the soil, essentially, and starting a wildfire. But where I am at right now, we are actually, what's it called? We are actually, we've been told anyways that because of the trees surrounding us, that we are at risk. Sorry if I'm really slow today, guys. I did not sleep at all last night. At all. Like, I just was so stressed out about some things. And my son is on a whole different sleeping schedule than the rest of the house, and it's kind of aggravating. I'm gonna have a talk with him today. It's not deliberate. It's just that he's so big that he's loud. And he said to me the other day, "Do you want me to walk around like a ninja?" And I said, "Yes." Actually, because when you come up the stairs, it sounds like a herd of elephants. And again, he doesn't mean to do that. He works hard, and all his friends are on the same schedule. But anyways, what was the point that I was trying to make before I went on a tangent? I forget. But anyways, oh yeah, we're at risk. We're at risk for forest fires. And right now, 3 main arteries of our roads are closed down due to construction. So essentially, we are trapped. I am trapped in my little neighborhood. There's obviously ways to get out, but it's very slow, and you can't go out this way, you can't go out this way, you got to go around this way, and it's time consuming and all the things. Here's my theory. Want to go down a rabbit hole with me? It's fun. It's fun as long as you come back out. A lot of people go down rabbit holes and they go down too far, and then they get too engulfed and they go, they think like all sorts of weird things. I don't go down that far because I had aunties and uncles that traveled down them and they didn't come back out. So anyways, our property is essentially, it's not really worth much right now because our town is kind of, it's kind of falling apart. And, sorry, my phone is telling me that the battery's low. Um, but anyways, wouldn't it be lovely for the, you know, owners of this town? Because even if you have property, you're not an owner. We all know that. You don't own property. But wouldn't it be lovely for there be fires down here? And then we have to rebuild. And what happens when you rebuild? Your property value goes up. What happens when your property values go up? Your taxes go up. So my theory is that something, I feel it in the air, I feel it in my bones that something is about to happen. So I'm just praying and praying every day that it does not, because, it won't be affordable for many families. It's already not affordable now. And if people had to rebuild and, then your insurance premiums go up. It's all a tangled game of deception, right? But I'm just really worried that that's what's going to happen, because they will find the fastest way to clear out a bunch of people. Look at what happened in Hawaii, right? Same thing happened in Hawaii. These magical fires came out of nowhere. They didn't burn down the blue houses, the painted blue houses, but everywhere else got it. And then, oh, you can't get back onto your property because we've confiscated it or whatever. And anyways, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I really don't care at all. I can't care because it will make you kooky, make you wander around the streets, unhinged. But I'm just going to prepare because we had a house fire. Again, if you have just stepped into this video, I'm just ranting and raving. And I don't do lives, so I just do long form videos. And believe it or not, people watch it. People watch it to probably roll their eyes or hate on me or whatever they do. I could care less, but anywho, if it gives me a view, it gives me a view. But we lived in this old apartment building, and what happened was the guy upstairs was doing stuff he wasn't supposed to be doing. He had a beautiful, beautiful kid that really worked hard and all the things, but he had a problem with some things, which caused him to ignite the apartment building into flames. Fun. And so it was about 4:30 in the morning, and my fire alarm goes off. And the fire alarm in the hallway is going off. And for a brief second in time, if I'm going to be really honest with you, I thought maybe that one of my children might have set a fire under the bed, because there had been an incident where they were playing with lighters, not mine, because I didn't smoke. And I always made sure, if I had a candle or something like that, the lighter went up, because I knew kids that had been burned by their parents' lighters. But anyway, that's another story. So, but for a brief second, I thought, oh, maybe the kids lit a fire under the bed. They wouldn't do that, but maybe, right? Anything's possible when you have children. So I went around the apartment looking under the beds and thinking, oh, and then I was like, oh, the fire's in here. It's outside. So for some reason, I couldn't get my middle son out of bed. He was dead asleep. He'd always go to bed last, and he had to fall asleep to the cartoons on TV, because this was a very particularly stressful time in our lives. And so he'd fall asleep late, and he'd sleep like a rock, like an absolute rock. So to get him up at 4:30 in the morning was a task. He wasn't getting up. Nope. And he was heavy. He was only, how old would he have been? 8 or 9? And he was solid. And he wasn't getting up, and I'm trying to, rouse him up. Finally get him up. My eldest son is in boxers, And then I have my baby. My baby's only a year old. Was he a year old? Well, I think he was 2. He was 2, but I'm still having to carry him, sort of thing. And we go out onto the street. We go onto the sidewalk because I don't know where we're gonna go right at this moment. I'm in a bit of a panic mode right now. My cat is inside the apartment. She had just freaked out and she just was not coming out of the apartment. We tried to get her and she was a scratcher because she was a rescue cat. She wasn't going to let you pick her up for anything, even if you wrapped her in a towel, all the thing. So my cat's inside. All my stuff is inside. I was not prepared for anything at all. At all. So we're standing on the sidewalk at 4:30 in the morning, and finally people are coming out. We were the first ones out. You know why we're the first ones out? Because we didn't engage into the in the drink or the smoky smoke. So I was the only one, coherent enough to get out of the friggin' house. So everyone starts to spill out onto the sidewalk. And by the grace of God, this family, they went for a walk every morning at 5 a.m. They were early ride, wonderful people. And they saw us there and they were like, come over to this house and wait there and figure out what's going on after the fire department and all that. Because now by now the fire department's there and all the things are happening. And I just don't know what to do. So we go over to this house with these ran into this house with this random family that I don't know. They're in the middle of doing renovations, so their house is just a mess, like not by fault of their own, you know what I mean. And I'm like, well, I better go back to the apartment building. And thank you if that was your family. Thank you very much. Thank you for everybody that was involved. I never got to thank anyone because I moved from there after that. So I thought I better go back to the apartment and see what's going on. If it's just a little fire, a big fire, but everyone's like, no, you can't. It's burning. You're not going back in. And it was what's it called? We weren't allowed to go back anyways for a month, but then we didn't go back. So anyways, I call my sister and ask her, can I bring the kids there? I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't have clothes. I don't have anything right now. I have to use the phone. I have to make phone calls. I'm so out of sorts. So of course she allows me, right? So we all go to her house. By this time, someone had given my son a pair of pants, and we go to my sister's. I make some phone calls. We get into a hotel, and then I had to go stay with another family member for another 6 weeks because what happened was the landlord offered us another apartment, right? Because they're supposed to do that. If they can't accommodate you, they have to give you another place to live, right? They have to give you another accommodation. So she owned an old house just down the street from the apartment building. And she's like, it's perfect. It's right near the school, blah, 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 blah. And you have use of the backyard, all the things. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is exciting. Maybe this happened for a reason. Not that I'd want any tragedies to occur. No one got hurt, by the way. So I go to look at this place. Oh my gosh. When I tell you it was the slummiest slum. It had like, in the 60s, there was this rug. I know because one of my family members had this really thin rug. Didn't have any shag on it or anything. It literally looks like felt. It literally looked like there was felt carpeting on the floors. It was so worn out from being there for I don't know how many years. It was so gross. It was so gross. And it's all through the apartment. And the apartment just looks like I've been in trap houses allegedly that were nicer than this. Let me just say that. So I said to her, oh, And she goes, well, you can just stay here until we fix the other apartment and then you can move back in there. And I'm like, oh, I can't do it. So she wasn't going to give me back my money if I didn't move into this place. She doesn't owe me anything legally. She's off the hook because I refused. And I said, let me go and sleep on this. And I thought, oh my God, I can't even imagine, because I remember my son is 2, my youngest is 2. I couldn't imagine him crawling around on that floor. Not for all the money in the world. Probably get foot fungus and God knows what else. So I was like, no, I can't even live there. What am I going to do? I'm screwed. So I said no. And I had to stay at my family members. And then I'm trying to find an apartment. Oh my gosh, it was horrendously horrible to find an apartment. It's hard enough finding that apartment. Now I gotta find another. So I'm like, you know what? I know this apartment building up the street. I know it's not doesn't have a good reputation, but I'm not in the mix. I don't do stuff, and I keep to myself all the things. It's close to the school, close to grocery stores. I called, happened to be a lady I knew that was the super. She gave me a really nice apartment, and we moved in there. But what's the point of the story? The point is, then I got one of those ladders so I could flip it over the balcony. If we had a fire, I could flip the ladder over the apartment balcony so the kids could climb down. And I put all of my like family photos and like all my special documents and all that by the front door. They all stayed by the front door because if ever there was a fire, I mean, obviously you're going to get yourself out first. You're going to get your family out first. But the little tote was there that I could just take with us. And if we had to go over the balcony, I could just drop it down the balcony. But, oh yeah, the cat was okay, by the way. We got the cat. She ended up, I think one of the firefighters got her or something. I don't remember. But, yeah, after that, like I said, get yourself out first. If you can get your animals out, get your animals out or leave the door. Usually they will run out. And never compromise your own life or safety for something that you can have replaced, right? But what was the point? The point is to always be prepared. Yeah, always be prepared. But that was an experience in itself, because let me tell you, it wasn't the fact, it was the fact, it wasn't the fact that there was a fire. It was the fact that, like, the landlord offered me this crap apartment. Then I got to stay with relatives. Then I got to find another place. It was just such a ridiculous, when you don't have a home with, and we were all staying in one bedroom. Me and my 3 children all had to stay in one bedroom. I slept on the couch at night, but like, we practically lived in the bedroom. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were outside all the time because luckily this was in the nice weather, but oh my gosh. I just wanted to get out into an apartment as soon as I saw the apartment. That's why every time I see that place, or think about it, I'm like, I was so grateful that I got in there, because oh my gosh, just to be able to get in, unpack your things. I had been wearing all the same clothes for weeks, and the kids wanted to have their friends, and it was a relief to finally get resituated. But yeah, be prepared, have everything by the door that's, even copies of pictures and things like that, because some of these things you'll never get back again. And again, don't put what's it called? Don't put value on material things, right? Be fortunate that you got out. Like, some people, oh, I don't know that, geez, we could have all went up in flames. We could have all, the apartment building, even if the fire alarms went off, which they did, that building was so old, it could have just ripped right through the apartment building. That's, so we were lucky to get out alive, and unscathed, just a little traumatized, But anyways, I'm gonna just chill here and hopefully they don't cancel the because I'm waiting for a fridge. I haven't had a fridge since Saturday. Well, I have a fridge. That's a lie. I have a mini fridge, but it's me and my two sons, so there's not a whole hell of a lot of room. But if you used to be able to just go in the store and have it delivered the next day. Nope. I thought Monday, right? Bought it Saturday. I thought, okay, Monday they'll be able to bring it. Tuesday, maybe. Nope. Wednesday. Like, customer service, I've said it before, is just down the drain. I mean, I'm grateful, but I mean, it's been hard because we can only buy so much food to, it's almost like camping, really. Anyways, the hazy skies and wear your mask if you have. I still have a pack of disposable masks from 2020. But I also have the N95 mask here. I just pray for people that have asthma or COPD or that have to be outside for long periods of time because this is bad. The residue from the wildfires is bad for your lungs and your health altogether. And I saw my neighbor this morning. She's got her teenage son out there mowing the lawn. Like, that can fucking wait. Not to be rude or anything, but that can wait, you know. But it is what it is, right? Some people don't even care. They just don't give a shit. But I do. I'm very mad at the people that are supposed to be taking care of the environment. They talk about climate change and they put all these things in place and make a big deal, but they can't even manage forests like pretty easy. Controlled burns and you got to chop down trees. You can't just leave trees. People think you just plant a tree and you just leave it. No, they have to be maintained, you know? But we don't even have that in our own town. So I don't expect them to have that in any other cities. Anyways, midlife opinions, midlife problems. Have a good day, guys. Bye.